Welcome back to Programmer YouTube channel. Today we are going to see about how to troubleshoot the locking situation. As we have already discussed in the last session, we try to apply shared lock on the resource which already hold the exclusive lock. So the second connection, the second select statement was blocked. Okay, so how we can find out that we will see. Also we will see the real-time scenario. Okay, we will use some system dynamic views to find out the locks. So let's start. So now before go ahead with this troubleshooting locking, let me tell you something about intent lock. So intent lock is a type of lock which will be applied on higher level of granularity, meaning if rows are locked in the tables, then the respective intent lock will be applied on a page or a table level. Here, respective intent lock means if the rows are holding the shade lock, then the higher level of granularity, that means table and the pages, will have the intent share lock. Okay. If the rows are holding the exclusive lock, then the page and table will hold the intent exclusive lock. So now the use of intent log is for SQL Server to determine the already existed log in the lower level of granularity. For example, if there is a log placed on the rows in a table, so their transaction who request for the log on the same table, then SQL Server will see the intent log on that table and will tell SQL Server that there is already logged on the rows. Okay, and whether it's compatible or not. If it is compatible, then it will allowed, or else it will block the request. So here let me try to simplify this thing. So how SQL Server will identify the incompatible lock? Okay, if there is already a lock on the resource, and if another transaction is trying to select those rows, then SQL Server should know that there is already lock on that particular resource. So now intent lock will come into the picture, okay, which tells SQL Server that uh, the coming request for the lock i- is incompatible with the lock which is already there currently. So how SQL Server will determine that? It will first check whether that table or page have the intent log, any kind of intent log, intent share or intent exclusive. And if the coming log is compatible with the this log, then it will grant the permission. Otherwise, it will place that new request is on wait. Okay. So just see this table. Now we have already these are already existed lock. Okay, so suppose we have the exclusive lock. Then if the request is coming from the exclusive lock, it will not compatible with the exclusive lock, so it will not allowed. Okay, if the request is coming for the exclusive lock and there is already a shared lock, then all that request will also not allowed. Okay, same goes with intent exclusive and intent share. If there is a simply if there is a exclusive lock, okay, the request is for exclusive lock, then none of the transactions are compatible with this exclusive lock. Same is for shared lock. If there is a request for the shared lock and already we have exclusive lock, then it will not allowed. If we have a shared lock and the request is coming from for the shared lock, then it's allowed because it's a compatible lock. Same goes with intent exclusive and intent share. Okay, the similar way now the intent locks are always compatible with the other intent locks. Okay, but it's not compatible with the now the exclusive intent lock is not compatible with the exclusive lock and shared lock, but it is compatible with the intent exclusive and intent share. Okay, so now in if there is a request for the intent shared lock and there is already exclusive lock, then it will not allowed. However, if the shared lock is already placed on the row and the request come for the intent shared lock, then it is allowed. Okay, in case of intent exclusive, intent shared and shared. So this is all about the intent lock. Okay, so let's start now. Okay, so blocking happen when two incompatible lock request comes from the different transactions. So one transaction will be granted and another one will be on wait. So this situation we can simply call it as a blocking. Okay. So generally the good idea is to shorten your transaction, and the statements which can be run out of transaction will need to get out from the transaction. Okay. Also there will be some application bugs in which the transaction is not closing some due to there are some kind of situations. For example, developer by mistake put incorrect try and catch, or there could be any other logical reasons due to that the transaction not closed. Okay, and the transaction is still open. Due to that, what will happen? The some other transaction will try to select or modify that rows, and the another transaction will be on the wait status. It will not SQL Server will not allowed. So, as we have already saw the example in the last session in which we have opened the transaction with the exclusive lock, and then we tried to apply a shared lock and the second request was blocked. So in real time, how we can find out such blocking and blocking? So let's see that. First, let's create the blocking. Okay. So let me open the SQL Server. Let me log in. Now we have opened two connection here. Okay. So now in the connection one, I'm just trying to beginning the transaction with the exclusive block, but I'm not closing that transaction. Okay. And in the second transaction, in the second connection, I'm just trying to access the same row which are being updated here. So let's run this. Obviously it should blocked, but as there is, let me change the value. Okay, let me try to open the transaction. Let me try to search. Now if you can see, this query is blocked. Okay, now this is the locking, this is the locked. So how we can find out this? Let's see now. So there are there is a system dynamic view. Okay, so this system dynamic view will give us the session level information. So what information we should get from this system view? Let's see that. Okay, now see, this is our connection 55, this is our connection 54. So this is the system dynamic view. Okay, so now we can see the server process IDs, SP IDs, connection IDs. Okay, so now our database is a training. So see, here we have a training. So let me put a where condition. So it will filter out some rows where what we want. Our database is a training database. So I'm just filtering this. Now run. Now see, for training database, our connection is 55 and 54. 55 and 54. Okay. So by querying this system dynamic view, what you will get? You will get a SPID, resource type, whether it's a database, page, rows, or tables. Okay. Then we have a database ID, we have database name. We have used database name function here, and we have passed the database resource database ID to get the database name. Okay. Then we have the object ID. We have a mode type of lock, whether it's a shared lock or the intent exclusive lock or the intent shared lock. And here we have the status. Now if you can see, we have the status called wait for the connection 55. So this is our connection 55. This is blocked. So we can see that detail here. Okay. So this is the first step. Now what we can do now? Okay. There is another system dynamic management view, that is sys.dm underscore exec underscore connections. So let's see that. So now we have to note down our connection IDs. Okay. So what is our connection ID? From this we can see there are 54, 55, and 56. But 55, forget about that. See, our weight, the status which has weight status, it's 55. So we have 55 and we have a 54. Okay, you can determine, you can identify this by the resource ID. So resource ID means here these are the row IDs. Okay, so the connection 55 have this ID. So also connection 54 also have this ID which is granted. So we can easily identify that we are going to see 55 and 54. Okay, so let's amend this 54 and 55. So now we are querying this view and let's see what we'll get here. Okay, so now we can see we have process ID, the connection time, last read, last write, and the most recent SQL handle. So this column is very important. Okay, so now we need to check. Okay, so this column is nothing but the handle to the actual query run by that session. So we are going to use this. So how we are going to do this now? Let me paste this query. So now we are going to use this, what should I say, this view, and we are going to cross apply that with the with this view. This is not a view actually. This is the function, table value function, in which we are going to pass this handle, and we are cross joining this and this, cross apply, sorry, and we are going to pass our session ID so that we will get the exact query which is run by that session. Sorry. Okay. So let's run this. Now see these two queries. Okay, let's copy this and paste it here. Now if you can see, 54 connection have this statement which is blocked, which is open, okay, which is not closed, and the blocked query is this select, sorry, yeah, this is our blocked query. Okay, so this is our blocked query and this is the main query which is started with the transaction but not rolled back. So now we have to identify this query, and want to if we want to kill the session, so we have a syntax here, kill, and we have to give the session ID, that is we have to kill 44. Now see, we can easily identify here that it's a application bug or anything like the SP which is running behind the scene from the application. It is a bug. If it is a bug, we can simply kill that. Now this is our duty to identify these queries. Okay, and we can simply kill that session. See, now it's blocked. Let me kill this. Now see, we should see the result. Okay, so this is all about troubleshooting the blocking, guys. We'll cover more stuff in the upcoming videos. So thank you for watching this video. Have a great day.